I'm here at Internet of Things World 2017 with Sukamal Banerjee from IoT WoRKS. Sukamal, great to have you here.
Good to meet you.
You recently gave a talk on the maturity stages of IoT. What are these stages?
Sure. So we actually work with MIT Sloan, and what we define is a three-stage process. And there are, of course, many different hues you can take on those three stages. But very simply put, we took stage one as the one which drives business or process efficiency. Second, where companies are starting to generate new revenue streams using IoT. And third is where they have fundamentally transformed their business, either in the form of business models or even in terms of entering adjacencies or market adjacencies, which they could not have otherwise done without IoT.
And what recommendations did you make to your audience while you were speaking?
I think a couple of things. Number one is very important to get started. Number two, having, and my audience and the target segment that we work with at HCL with IoT WoRKS is fundamentally focused on enterprises. Enterprises tend to be very complex, large. They vary by industry, they vary by geography, and they vary by culture. So it's not about one size fits all kind of an advice. But what is very important is to have a clear roadmap, whether you want to take a big bold bet like a GE has done, or you want to take it step by step. But having a clear roadmap and a plan, both with regards to your technology roadmap as well as your business roadmap in terms of what you're trying to achieve. I think that becomes very important. The second point I had mentioned is eventually for a company to achieve stage 2 and stage 3, you will need an IoT platform. And that's in some quarters being questioned about the value of it, and rightly so, and the time it's going to take for it to kind of show up in terms of business value. But I think that's the second recommendation I made.
What steps do you think an organization has to take to get their Internet of Things project off the ground?
Again, I think it depends on which stage you are in, right? Stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. I think stage 3, to keep it simple, it's a board level decision. Right? You are making a strategic bet and a decision. Stage 2, it can be a divisional decision, but fundamentally where you have enough comfort, both in terms of your own organization as well as enough comfort with regards to your customers and your markets, that markets are ready to accept, or you can influence your market to accept your new business model. The first stage is where you can actually take very local specific decisions, where your even a regional functional unit can take decisions regarding what kind of efficiencies or business process improvement you would like to do. So to kind of think about it, at what stage or what kind of impact makes a huge difference about how you get started. But at the end of the day, having clear objectives, or another way to simply put it is like any other in enterprise transformation program, having clear objectives, having clear roadmap, and being clear about what you want to achieve in the short term, medium term, long term is the key definition that you need to put in place.
Are there any common mistakes that you notice companies making when they try and deploy their IoT solutions?
I would not call it mistakes. I would say, again, I'm talking about very large global complex organizations, and many of them have been in business for hundreds of years. It's a very complex change management for them. And I think if I want to qualify it as a mistake, I think the mistake which is happening is their acceptance of the transformation impact. What they're trying to do is use IoT as a technology to improve what they're already doing. They're not fundamentally changing the business processes, or not fundamentally driving a change of behavior with their people so that they can get the true value out of it. I think it's just a matter of time. As they see more and more industry peers doing it, they probably will get to it.
And what job titles do you think these companies really need to deploy their IoT solutions? Okay. And also, are there certain kinds of companies or sizes that you think are particularly well suited?
I think, let me take the second question first. In terms of sizes, I guess IoT applies to anybody and everybody. Our focus has been on the enterprise market segment, which is the global 2000 companies. And in that, in terms of titles, it again goes back to that same stage that we are operating in. In a stage 1, you can have a local administration chief or a plant manager take decisions. In the third stage, as I mentioned, it is a board level decision. In the second stage, it is at least a business unit head who needs to commit and buy into it. Organizations have invested in this new role called Chief Digital Officer, and Chief Digital Officer does have a significant role to play in the asset-heavy industries with regards to IoT. So I would say those are the titles and functions that matter.
Great. Thank you, Superman.
Thank you.